Welcome back to a professional match of StarCraft 2. Today it's time for a 2 versus 2 where we find ourselves on Emerald City. Now, while 2v2 in general is pretty popular in StarCraft 2, we barely ever see it at the pro level. Over the years, I've seen a handful of games here and there, and they tend to be incredibly chaotic. Now, I've heard that this game right here is an absolute banger, so hopefully I won't miss too much of the action, because obviously the build orders are going to be completely out of whack from what we normally see, and there's going to be way more stuff to look at in general. So I'll try and find everything. Anyways, let's get started like we always do by introducing the players. So first off here, in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, they're playing together. First off, we have the teal Protoss player who goes by the name of Astrea, and his teammate with the red Terran SCVs, we have Special. And then in the opposite corner, we're looking at Kelazhur's main command center, and right next to him, with the purple Protoss probes, we have a MaxPax. Already, a probe moving out. Alright, so I've played a fair amount of 2v2 over the years myself. One advantage is that they barely ever update the map pool for 2v2. I don't know when Emerald City was introduced, but it's been a very long time. So at the very least, I've got a decent understanding on how these maps function. Emerald City. I'm actually kind of curious, now that I'm saying that out loud. Emerald City Liquipedia. It probably kept track of when that was added into the game. Okay, it got added in the game on the 20th of November, 2018. So it's been a little while. All right, so how exactly are our players here in the top left-hand corner gonna respond to it? They're not actually scouting anything just yet. There is one SCV right here moving on the left side of the map. Astrea actually going straight for a proxy pylon too, by the way. So he went for a cybernetic core at home. Gold base really quickly. And did this pylon get spotted? No, Kelazhur actually did not see the pylon close to their side of the map either. Special seems to be going for a relatively, standard opener right here. I mean, it's a one-base start. Double gas. Probably will go for a starport here soon enough. Probe right here will be killed as well, so no additional scouting right here for the players in the top left-hand corner. This does mean that they will be mostly... they will be mostly in the dark. Now, okay. Nice thinking right here by Kelazhur, realizing that there was definitely some aggression right there from the opponents. Desperately trying to deny scouting, and while that is obviously something you pretty much always want to do, they did figure out that there's likely a gold base. Okay, so probes being recalled from the main base towards the Golden Expo instead, and that means that the bottom right-hand corner, those players, they're going to have a ton of eco. That one Reaper just now also found the gateway over here, so that certainly, gives them a huge indication that there's going to be a lot of aggression coming their way. Kelazhur was opening up with a pretty quick expo here. He's going to go for a bunker on the low ground, and I guess he'll go orbital in the main base too. MaxPax with a pylon on the low ground to try and, I guess, go for like a shield battery. At the same time, starports actually are building here in the top right-hand corner, and that's a plural. So there's two starports right now coming up for Special. Do you think actually, so one thing you can do in 2v2 that you obviously can't do in 1v1, at the 5-minute mark, you can send your ally resources. So this seems to me like maybe like a double Battlecruiser opener, or okay, so there is indeed a fusion core being proxied right now too. Can you properly afford that off of just one base economy? I'm not 100% sure. I'm sure Special knows. Alright. Oh my god, there's already so much movement here on the minimap. I kind of wish they were playing like, I don't know, light blue and blue, and, you know, maybe like red and orange or something along those lines, so it's like relatively easy to follow. Either way, we've got a little bit of a dance right over here. Looks like the players in the top left-hand corner of the map are holding on for now. It's a Void Ray follow-up here by MaxPax, because of course it is. MaxPax, a huge fan of the Void Ray. In the meantime, though, Battlecruiser number 1 is coming up. This is what I was worried for. You need 400 minerals, 300 gas for a second Battlecruiser, and off of one base eco, I don't really see how you can run it. Especially if we're also going to rally in a couple of other units here. A few Widow Mines are being produced. Okay, so he's coming up on 400, 300, and there's the second one. Fair enough. Kelazhur, once again, sending a Reaper across the map. Finds a random Widow Mine. This better be good. That's it. A little bit of aggression here on the other side of the map too, but at this point, I think these Battlecruisers are going to be completely unscouted. Is Special going to save them up before he moves in? I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, this is now a one base all in right now, right? I guess there's the golden minerals right here from Astrea, which they can kind of share. Okay, additional bases are coming up as well. But this needs to pay for itself, because otherwise you run into a lot of trouble. Kelazhur and MaxPax apparently feeling pretty good about everything. Yeah, a couple siege tanks over here. Battlecruiser number 1, though, is out. Battlecruiser number 2 is going to be available soon enough as well. Still completely unscouted. MaxPax thinking about going for a Nexus on the low ground. Honestly, it feels like Special is doing him a favor here by denying that expo. He's trying to bait those couple of Adepts and maybe the Marines here into the Widow Mine as well. I love that. Yeah, cute little move. Good micro, though. 2 more Battlecruisers are coming up, by the way. Adepts do shade forward. Astrea, is he gonna commit? He will commit. Nice move. Void Ray comes in, though. I mean, one reason why you want to trade out the Marines, I think, is to make sure that the Battlecruisers can go in, right? So here we go. Battlecruisers are going to be available. Yamato gun is not out just yet. The weapon refit is still researching. Battlecruisers without those upgrades, though, aren't really as scary, but, I mean, they still pack a punch. There's one pylon powering all of this. MaxPax going straight for the fleet beacon here. He does have a good amount of Void Rays, though. Yeah, he does have a very good amount of Void Rays. And you know what? He holds easy peasy. At the same time, the Adepts, okay, they did commit into the mineral line of Kelazhur. Did we lose a bunch of stuff yet? Okay, yeah, there's definitely some damage. Oh, okay. Nice catch here, actually, also by MaxPax, realizing that those units must have come from somewhere. Fusion Core has already died. Is he going to be able to pop out one more Battlecruiser? I mean, they really take so long to produce, but he does get it out. And I'm assuming you want to teleport that one right after a Yamato cannon, apparently. Alright, alright, alright. Looks like they've managed to stabilize. Relatively smoothly as well, all things considered. A lot of 2 versus 2s, they end at the cheese stage, right? So if you played any 2v2s, especially with like a random ally, it's, yeah, very obvious that you kind of rely on your ally to be half decent at the game for the game to go distance, right? It's very easy to accidentally lose. The problem is if your ally loses a bunch of their economy, for example, or you lose a bunch of your economy, obviously the opponents are going to have a very easy time, yeah, collapsing all over you. If it's a 2v1, it's basically unwinnable. But at this point, yeah, Special, I guess, getting the short end of the stick as far as income goes, but the golden base here from Astrea sort of makes up for it. This is cool, man. I've always thought that 2v2 is one of the most underutilized game modes in all of StarCraft, because it's honestly really cool. I think the main thing that's holding its back is probably the map design. I think the map design is not that great. I mean, this one's pretty good, but there's some of them that are, yeah, just not. Anyways, I've always felt like there's a lot of potential in 2 versus 2. Obviously, StarCraft was designed with 1v1 in mind, but definitely something future RTS games could be thinking about quite a bit more. Like the pacing in SC2, for example, is I think a little bit too quick for you know, proper 2 versus 2. But I mean, for example, in Warcraft 3, I know 2v2 is very popular too, right? Or at the very least, it plays really well. Very chaotic to watch too, though. Anyways, MaxPax with some very, very quick and smooth Void Rays here. Extremely aerodynamic. He's trying to see if it can potentially kill that Nexus. There's a lot of stuff here on the back of it, though. I think you need to recall. Are we not going to recall? Okay. A little bit of a late recall. He probably wanted to be out of range right there of both the Stalkers as well as the Phoenixes. Keeps them alive for the time being. Alright. Second fleet beacon this game. Astrea making his own. All the roads, of course, lead to SkyToss, but this time around, SkyToss right here is joined as well by a couple of Battlecruisers. Not bad. But you know, mechanical units in the game can be repaired, right, by SCVs? I'm fairly certain carriers can be repaired. Am I crazy for saying that? I mean, I'm just thinking out loud here. Maybe I'm wrong. But I know, for example, Queens, since they're biological, they can be healed by Medivacs. There's some crazy combos you can make work. I know you can, at the very least, repair Immortals in 2v2. With SCVs, that is. Alright, a little bit of sloppiness, though. Yeah, that was really quite unfortunate. 2 Battlecruisers there end up going down. Very expensive set of units right there for Special to lose. And this does mean that Kelazhur and MaxPax are, yeah, starting to create a nice advantage for themselves. Astrea obviously isn't dealt with yet, though. Astrea just sort of exploding here on the right side of the map. mispositioning that Nexus, if I'm not mistaken. Unless the map designer did the thing where, like, this little doodad doesn't actually indicate the center of where the base is. This bothers me to no end. Anyways, big fight over here. Cyclones apparently decided to move on over in this direction too. I thought for a second those were the opponent's Cyclones, but it turns out they were Specials. Special going for a mech-based army after rushing out a couple of BCs. Astrea with a ton of Phoenixes. Phoenixes are honestly amazing in 2 versus 2, just because normally you kind of like lack follow-up, right, with Phoenixes, but in 2v2, obviously, your ally can be there for the follow-up. They can swoop in and lift like an entire mineral lineup, and obviously they're super quick as well. Void Ray with their speed upgrade, though. Yeah, they're pretty strong. I mean, Phoenixes don't mess around here either, though. Oh my god. I think the Phoenixes win that, no? Am I crazy? Yeah, they certainly do. MaxPax also not entirely sure about it. He's like, I think That's one thing too that's like different in team games, right? The entire pacing of where you're like currently at in your own game is completely different. Alright. Battery overcharge, or yeah, what's called prismatic alignment right there on the Void Ray is activated, but deactivated very quickly. Kelazhur adding on Thors here as well to try and nullify some of those Phoenixes with that splash damage, right? But so far, the Phoenixes are absolutely tearing all of this apart. Excellent movement here by the American Protoss. He's now transitioning towards every Protoss player's favorite unit. I think so anyways. Carriers are coming up. In the meantime, though, on the other side of the map, MaxPax. He's got an opportunity to make carriers of his own. He's realized, wait a second, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Kelazhur obviously has got a row of siege tanks over here, making it hard for the opponents to be able to push in. My god, we're still at 25 Phoenixes. Love this. Look at that. Some modern art over here. Architect Kelazhur. Building a ton of missile turrets here in a really beautiful formation. Alright, Battlecruisers, though, obviously with the Yamato cannons, can take care of the missile turrets pretty easy. Cybernetics core number 2 coming up here as well for the double upgrades. I think you Yamato them, right? Yeah. So you Yamato them, and then the Phoenixes could swoop in. Yeah, those Void Rays actually were kind of terrible, right? Like, Void Rays have done very little this game other than clean up the initial Battlecruiser cheese. Yeah, I guess they did. Yeah, they did quite a bit then, I guess. But anyways. MaxPax right now going for the Mama ship. Already has a double cybernetics core to go for the ultimate SkyToss army. Astrea is already maxed out. Well, he's got 5 carriers on the production tab, so once they are out and they're actually full on interceptors, that's when they're maxed out. Anyway, Special starting up some static defense here. Widow Mines leading the charge in the center of the map, using some of that Cyclone Hellion army of his to move in towards the bottom left-hand corner as well. Widow Mines, okay, yeah, he's got to be very careful here. He does eventually get him. Looks like the Planetary will once more stay alive. Gotta be so careful, though. Those Javelin missiles of the Thors, they can absolutely tear all of those Phoenixes apart. There's still a bunch of Widow Mines around the map, too, which also makes me a little bit anxious for the Phoenixes. Okay. BCs in the meantime, back in the top right-hand corner. This is where they were born. This is where Special gave birth to those Battlecruisers at, like, the 6-minute mark. Alright, good bit of damage here, but a huge recall is going to force those units going back. But the recall is also now allowing Mr. Astrea to jump up top of that army. Maybe that was a little bit overly ambitious, though, but he was probably thinking, okay, if I can distract it from the rest of those Thors, if we can pull it into, smaller sections, we might be able to pick off half of the army at once. Probably didn't go as well as you wanted to. Hellions and Cyclones once more moving towards the bottom left-hand corner. A couple of Widow Mines over here trying to be annoying, too. This base has got 8 kills to its name already, but I think there's going to be a couple more. Ooh, okay. This is sick, right? Like, if you're a fan of StarCraft, this is cool, right? Like, I'd love to see more of this. Maybe I should organize a 2v2 tournament myself. That might not be a terrible idea. Maybe. I don't know. It's kind of hard to organize these sort of things, but, Yeah, definitely would like to see a little bit more of it. Pro players, by the way, I've asked a bunch of them. They're more than happy to play 2v2. It's just that there's no money in it, right? Like, yeah, if you're gonna play StarCraft 2, there's only so many hours in every day. It's not that they don't want to, it's just that it's not a very efficient way of spending your time, if that makes any sense. Like, if you would have decided in 2010 that 2v2 was the default game mode, pro players would have 100% played it. Although I do think 1v1 is quite a bit better overall. It's still fun to, like, see this mixed in. It brings an entire, well, not just one additional layer. It brings, like, 10 additional layers of complexity to an already incredibly hard game. Anyways, mispositioning right here by MaxPax, for example, forcing a couple of the Thors to cloaked Thors. It's so strange. Look at that. Yeah. Love it. Anyways, forcing a couple of those Thors to go down. Nice move here. Time Warp obviously moving down, or slowing down the movement speed as well as the attack speed of units caught in that bubble. Special and Astrea still decide to push through this regardless. Eventually the Time Warp does run out. They decide to be extremely aggressive here. Siege tanks on the low ground though from Special are just absolutely shedding apart everything here from Kelazhur. The only thing that really remains right now are the carriers here from MaxPax. He still has 9 of them though and 59 interceptors. And I think that might actually be enough. Yeah, that one Time Warp actually changed everything. So it reduces the movement speed, but also the attack speed of the units that are caught within that bubble. By 50%. I think it's 50% anyways. It's absolutely massive. Whew, okay. Astrea, though, still has an absolutely killer economy. Special doesn't have as much, but he's got a good amount of money in the bank. Once more, harassing here. Bottom left-hand corner is now going to be acquired by the players that are in the top left. Top right-hand corner, though, already taken here by Astrea. One command center here from Special ends up going down. Special's starting to run a little bit low on income at this point, though. He's gonna go for a huge mech army here. Now transitioning towards Mass Raven, it seems. Maybe it's because Astrea's like, okay, I'm getting a lot of gas income. Maybe I can give you some of it. Alright, 6 carriers for Astrea. Going for all of the SkyToss upgrades. Even now researching shields. Kelazhur, though, happily continuing his mech upgrades too. Playing a little bit more conservatively, but he's been taking the entire left side of the map. This is the Kelazhur vertical. That's what we like to call this in the business. We've got the entire left-hand side of the map taken here by Kelazhur. One Hellion here with 2 health and a dream, trying to roast an assimilator. Not gonna happen. Anyways, Kelazhur and MaxPax creating a chokehold right here on the base down south. Gold base probably needs to be given up. Yeah, I think this is the right call. There's no resources anymore here anyways, other than the 8 minerals, but that's just two trips right there from Probe. No reason to lose all your money over that. Instead, Special now uses this as an opportunity to go across the map, it seems. At the very least, he's considering it. He needs to be so careful, though. Okay, at the same time, I was wondering where that SkyToss army of MaxPax went. He just managed to make his way easy peasy, just for free, into the main base here of the opponent. Thors are being picked off as they pop out of the factories. Apparently, rather than defending at home, Astrea and Special are going on the offensive instead. I'm assuming recall is available here again for MaxPax, so he can always go home in time if he absolutely wants to. But he's gonna try and just clear out as much of these bases as he can. Obviously, though, the players in the bottom right are spread out over the entire right side of the map. There's the recall being utilized. All of the interceptors are already deployed right here for Astrea. The anti-armor missile here from Special coming in clutch as well, forcing a lot of additional damage right here on those flying units from MaxPax. That being said, the Thors weren't part of that battle. Special desperately trying to derp those to the front. Obviously, since they're, they're ground units, they kind of get stuck on one another. Whereas the flying units just sort of, they walk around much more smoothly. Astrea just lost a huge chunk of his economy and a huge chunk of his army as well. MaxPax, likewise, ended up losing, well, a huge chunk of his force, but he still has most of his eco. That being said, gold base is running low for him as well. Special and Astrea almost look like they want to go all in here. I wouldn't mind seeing him just add on some additional production structures. Yeah, he's got four Stargates once more. Wouldn't mind seeing a new pylon to power up that one right over there. Special's army, though, is looking huge, man. For some reason, I feel like Special hasn't had that much eco for a long time. Maybe he was fed a little bit by Astrea. I wish there was like a... Maybe there is a notification on the screen and I just missed it, but I wish there was an obvious notification that would show us if resources are being sent back and forth. This planetary fortress has been an absolute MVP, man. Making it so hard for these units to be able to harass. Alright, Special. Taking up shop right here at the bottom of the ramp. The Void Ray army slowly building up once again. Tempests are added on as well here by MaxPax, by the way, which I actually really love. Tempest right here on top of all of these units would be fantastic, right? You can pick off those siege tanks at ease. Alright. MaxPax doesn't have a lot of eco anymore, though. Yeah, he decides to now commit together with his ally. Kelazhur comes marching down the ramp. The Thors, though, once again get stuck on one another. This is an absolute brute force down that ramp. But I think that there's going to be enough right here for the player in blue. Most of the Tempests have been picked off. Rest of the army right now from Astrea, though, as well as the special reinforcements. They join in with the initial chunk of the army. Not that much anti-air here available for the players from the top left. MaxPax is broke. Yeah, pretty much no income for him at all. Yep, 0. He's got how many workers? 14 probes. Alright, so they're making their way somewhere. Obviously, if you don't have enough minerals here to remake a Nexus, you can just ask your ally to send you some instead. This is awkward. Yeah, he's trying to make a Nexus right over here where Astrea has already planted down a Nexus. Instead, the probes right now decide to attack the Nexus there for a bit. Astrea has taken care of that mining base there from Kelazhur in the bottom left. Probes going all the way back home. MaxPax doesn't have much. Kelazhur is near maxed out. Astrea and Special both have a mediocre army. Base once again gets cancelled. And honestly, this is like one of the absolute last, well, potential mining bases. There's another one up north as well that might come into the mix. Kelazhur? I guess, yeah, there's still a little bit of money remaining. But it kind of felt like everything was coming down to that expo right over there. Alright. Looks like we're gonna chill for a little bit. Special and Astrea are probably scratching their heads right now. What exactly do we do here? This is an excellent game. This is so sick. I still think Kelazhur might just have... I'm saying that there's a lot of low HP Thors. Once again, anti-armor missile right there on the units from Kelazhur. Bunch of the siege tanks also affected by it. Siege tanks here from Special do siege up a little bit later, and that does mean that Kelazhur gets some additional shells in. The army supplier of Special dropped in just a heartbeat, and the same can be said for Astrea. A lot of damage was done, though. MaxPax only at 20 supply right now. I think that's like 1 Tempest and a bunch of probes. Kelazhur still has a good amount of stuff left over. However, a lot of his units are low in hit points. I would not mind seeing a couple of SCVs joining in here for the repairs. The one hero Tempest here picking off siege tank after siege tank. Look. SCVs repairing a bunch of SkyToss units. They became the very thing they swore to destroy. I can't believe this. MaxPax right now being fed some resources here to add on some additional Tempests. That does mean that Kelazhur's army, though, is not as strong as it once was. Astrea is still building up the fleet. This is such a sick game. Oh my god. We're 23 minutes into it. I mean, this army here from Astrea is scary good, though. Yeah, okay, I was gonna say. It seems hard to see who's winning at this point until you realize that the players in the top left-hand corner don't really have a whole lot of anti-air. Those carriers there from Astrea were ready to clean up everything. MaxPax broke for the better part of the last 5 minutes, and eventually it means that Astrea and Special, who opened up with some extreme aggression, they end up winning in a macro game. Hey, if you made it all the way until the end of this video, don't forget to subscribe. I upload videos pretty much every single day. I mean, or don't. It's okay.